Hey everybody, Matt here. Thanks for stopping by. In today's video, we're going to continue to look at SketchUp free. Well, welcome back. This is now part 10 of the SketchUp free video tutorial series that I've been working on. If you're new to SketchUp or new to 3D modeling in general, I invite you to go check out the earlier videos and see how we actually got to this point. At the end of the last video, part 9, I left you looking at the design of the flip-top table, and you saw me correct a width problem for the tabletop, and in a previous video you also saw me rotate the whole tabletop itself to make sure there were no collisions with any parts of the structure for the frame of the table. All that looks pretty good. Just a couple of little comments I have left to say. That is, you probably are wondering what keeps the tabletop from just rotating around. There's nothing in the design that will prevent it from just freely rotating. Well, the design I have in mind is I plan to insert a bolt right through here. So drill a hole right around there and insert the bolt from this side, and then put the nut or maybe a knob on this side to lock the table from into position from rotating. And I'll probably put a bolt on this side, and then probably a bolt in this corner over here, just so there'll be 3 points that actually lock the table into position. A bolt here, and then of course the axle that the whole thing pivots around. I didn't feel the need to actually model that or add it to the model, but you certainly could for your designs. You can get as detailed or as general as you feel is necessary. The next thing I wanted to mention is I haven't really talked about these casters. So the casters are mounted on a board, and this actually represents a piece of a dolly that you can buy from Harbor Freight, and all I did was cut the associated boards off, and that's why this board is this length. I think in actuality, now that I know what the dimensions of this table are really going to be, I think I will wind up taking the casters off of this board and using a longer board so that the wheels are moved closer toward the leveling feet. It should add some stability to the table as it's getting rolled around. But once again, I don't really feel the need to make that change in the model. It doesn't really impact the building of the frame, the tabletop, or even the leveling feet. So at this point, I'm going to call this design done. The next step for me will be to pull the pieces apart and to measure and to make some printouts. There's a video that describes the process I go through to actually make printouts of all the parts. So I'll make printouts of the parts that I need to cut, and I'll use the tape measure to measure up what the dimensions are for the different items that need to be cut. I'll mark those dimensions down on the printouts, and then I'll get out to my shop and start cutting some lumber and actually fabricating this cart. I will more than likely make an actual build series video series of, say that again, I'll most likely wind up making a series of videos that documents the building of the table, and then mounting the tools, and then actually flipping it around and showing it in use, just so you can get complete closure on the whole project. since now you've seen in a fair amount of detail how I actually came up with the design and how I used the SketchUp tools to model it and how I discovered some issues and then modified the design and then rechecked it, etc., etc. So I'm pretty happy with the design at this point. Now I'm just ready to make some printouts, add my measurements to the pieces I need to cut, and then get down to the shop and actually start fabricating. So I will see you in that build video series. Once again, and as always, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or about how I did the model, or you'd like to see a follow-up video that further demonstrates or details how I use some of the tools, by all means leave me a comment, leave me a question, and I will follow up with you. All right? Thanks again.